Diversity is not our strength. Please stop repeating this nonsense, oh lefty liberal maniacs. Let's go through two reasons, the only two reasons you need really, to know that diversity is not only not a strength, it's a big glaring weakness that we need to avoid. So let's go through it. Diversity means you are not sticking to the plan, right? So think about it like you've got a little Lego model, right? If I build a Lego model of a rocket or a tower or anything, and I have a plan, right? So the rocket should look like what's on the plan, you know, the piece of paper that shows me what the thing should look like. That's what I'm trying to build. So if I go diversity rather than what's on paper, I'm not going to end up with the finished thing, am I? I'm going to end up with half of a rocket and pieces all over the floor, and I'm going to be scratching my head thinking, well, it doesn't look like how it does on the box, and what do you know, it doesn't work. That's the first reason why diversity is a big failure, right? Diversity is not what you think it is. When the media, BBC News, and these idiot liberals are saying diversity is our strength, what they're saying is a strength means to have no particular benefit, no particular value, no particular direct set rules or borders or boundaries. What is a strength is to be a slave to whatever trendy politics gets thrown at you from anywhere else, right? So if Muslims say we want Sharia, diversity being a strength means you're weak until you have Sharia. How is that a strength? It's not. It's complete nonsense. How did the British Empire become an empire from being a tiny little crappy country that actually spanned 2/3 of the world? Was that done with diversity? Is diversity the reason why most of the international business world speaks English as its first language? Even America. America's the biggest, most powerful, richest country on earth, speaks our language, English. How did that happen? Was it diversity? Was it Red Indians? Was it Africans? Was it black radical feminists who made that happen? Or was it actually not diversity? Was it meritocracy? Which brings us to the second reason why diversity is fanciful garbage that needs to be ejected out of the nearest airlock. Diversity means the opposite of meritocracy. Meritocracy means you don't have a diversity of people when you want the very best, right? Because there's not a diversity at the very top of a triangle. What that means is the top best people live here, right? And everybody else lives down here. So if you want the best people for a given job, you don't pick them based on diverse social values or cultural attributes. You know, you don't choose the best people based on their gender, their nationality, their race, their ethnicity, their religion, their political views. You choose them based on whether they can do the thing. So there is no diversity in merit. Merit does not discriminate. You're either good at a thing, or you flipping suck at a thing and you're not good at a thing, whereby you should not be doing that thing for me or for anyone else. Right, so they're the two things that we're left with. You've got diversity on one side, which means meritocracy doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you can do the thing. Doesn't matter whether you being in a job is actually going to get that job done. All that it is a tick on a form for some idiot suit in a corrupt government to say, well, we service the needs of the people because we have diversity. Despite the fact that you're putting people in jobs that cannot do those jobs. And actually don't want to even do those jobs because they're more interested in feminist politics or Black Lives Matter or Just Up Oil or Gaza or some ridiculous fringe trendy politic, which by the way in a few years nobody will care about, instead of doing the job. So diversity is a huge weakness. Even though they keep telling us diversity is our strength, you show me one example of a thing that got stronger by the addition of diversity. I guarantee you will not find anything that is worth having, anything of value at all in any part of the world, which is improved by removing the pieces and then throwing in a load more diversity. It does not happen. So we know diversity is not a strength, it's actually a huge, big weakness. And the reason we know that it is a weakness, factually, logically, example-led testing will show us this, is because for a thing to work and have value, it needs to have structure, right? It needs to have the best pieces together, formed by a structure which has all those pieces in it. And as soon as you start pulling these pieces out and going, well, this one would be better if it was an intersectional trans feminist, or this one would be better if we just threw him away and we added like 3 women from China, that means you are diluting down the structure. You know, you're weakening the structure of a thing. You are ripping out the merit and you are putting in worse stuff, worse people, worse values, worse performance, weakness. And that is what we see in Western culture at the moment, unfortunately. Well, look, let's be honest about this. And everybody knows this, whether they want to admit it or not, whether these stupid feminist idiots want to admit this or not. This is factual. The Western world hit the heights of where it is now because of meritocracy, not diversity. Right? Because everyone was speaking English, everyone was using the same tools that they understood. Those tools were refined, right? And the precision hit a very high level. Everyone doing the same job over and over got very good at it. And over time, the internal quality of everything rose up, right? And then it was like a renaissance of skill, of productivity, of society. That's what happened. Then we're riding high and someone has this bright idea, oh, let's add a load of diversity in. And we suddenly start to dive bomb down, right? Because what does diversity add? Diversity means we now take foreign wars and political strife and communism and evil and violence and inequality. We take other countries' problems which we solved hundreds of years ago. We now take those problems off other countries and we make them law here. That is what diversity does. It takes problems from other places and weaves them into our lives here using law so that we have to have them. How is that a strength? Like I say, show me one example of why diversity strengthens anything at all. You will not be able to. So the summary is, on 8 minutes, A, diversity is not a strength, and we know this because it is the opposite of structural meritocracy, right? Diversity equals segregation, diversity equals dilution, diversity equals socialism, diversity equals your rights being completely eroded for the sake of a group of foreign nationals who basically don't care about you and want their culture to come here. B, diversity is a glaring weakness and is the reason why civil war will happen if we don't stamp out this nonsense that diversity is a strength with the truth that diversity is a big, glaring, destructive weakness that we need to stamp right out. And that's what I'm hoping we do. I don't care whether people call me names. Oh, I'm an Islamophobe, I'm a racist, I'm a, whatever ist or phobe you can think of. No, I am just a logical, factual, reasonable man who wants to see my society get better for everybody in it, not worse. And that's why the summary is diversity is a failure, it's not a strength, it's a weakness. And if we as a nation want to have any kind of a future and get back to the heady heights that we were at before we started kowtowing to these uncivilized cavemen from foreign countries with thousands of year old problems that we solved, then we need to recognise we need to boot them out without any time wasted. And instead of putting laws in place to support their problems from abroad, we need to say, this is our country. These are our cultural values. And diversity can work over in their country, can't it? Right? If diversity is so great, go and make it work in your country. What we have here works for us, and it is structural meritocracy. Freedom and democracy. It is not diversity. The whole point in it is to stop diversity from infecting us and ruining us, like it currently is. So that's the end of this video. You all know this is 100% true. Even the ones that are going to bitch and whinge about it, you know. Diversity means struggles from foreign countries being forcibly imported here, and the end of meritocracy, which we do not want. So let's make sure next time we vote for another corrupt politician, at least make it one who is openly against diversity, because it is a nightmare and it is evil. Ooh. He said it, the quiet part out loud. So there we go. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless you all. Even you diversity-led maniacs from the left who clearly haven't thought any of this stuff through and are actually slightly special. You're a bit retarded to think that would ever work. God bless you as well. And I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye.